Alright, man, what's good with y'all, man? I hope y'all having a good day. I hope y'all smiled at least one time. Let me show you how I made this YoungBoy Baton Rouge type beat. So the first thing, the first chord. So you lay down the root note right here. You lay down whatever you can use. You use D sharp, whatever. But this one is C. So once you lay down the root note, you're obviously going to do what everybody else says. You're going to skip a highlighted note. So it would be this one right here, D sharp, and you'll do it again, G. Now what you're going to do, you're going to take that top note and you're going to pitch it down an octave. You're going to do the same thing with the root note, not the middle note. You're going to do it with the root note, C. So you're going to pitch it down an octave. And before we get into the next set of chords, we have to finish off the first set of chords by transitioning into the next set of chords, which is these two notes right here, which is, it's really the same thing. It's the root note and the top note. See, it's the same thing, it's just, it's this, that's it. This is the only one that's not being used, transitioning into the next set of chords. The next set of chords is almost the same thing. So you stay with your root note. If you pitch those up, you can see that the G only goes up one semitone, so G sharp, and you can see the D sharp turns into an F. So we take those two and we turn it down, and now we can see that we can either stay on C or we can use F. And I chose to go to C, F, back to C, F, and then I use G. So that's what my 808 pattern looks like. I'll show you that later on in the video. And that's already the first two bars done. Now when you go into the next one, you can see that this right here is basically the same thing, except this last chord right here, we use D instead of D sharp. You see that D sharp is up here, we're gonna go down one instead. So instead of going to D sharp, we're gonna go D for the top note right here. And then A sharp, we use A sharp right here, and you can see that it's not, it's not highlighted. It's fine if you use a couple notes that aren't in scale, they're not highlighted, like these light gray notes, these light gray bars right here. It's fine if you use a couple of those, there's not too many because it won't sound right. This one, it's good, still sounds bouncy, Baton Rouge type. So those two notes are there, and then G, which basically, like I said, I used C, F sharp, C, actually C, F sharp, C right here, and then F sharp right here, then I used G. So that's the whole first part. And then basically this is the same thing as this right here, but instead of it being right here, it's just pitched down. That's it. So this is what it sounds like. Alright, so that's it for the chords. Now let's go on to the melody. Alright, so we got the melody pulled up, and if you don't know by now, chords, you can make melody out of chords. You break the chords up into pieces so that it becomes a melody, and you switch everything up. So for example, let's go on back to the chords and let's see some of the notes that we have. We have G, D sharp, C, F, and then we have an A sharp over here. So now when we go on to the melody, you'll see that we got, look at this, F sharp, G, D sharp, C, and then we have an A over here, A sharp. So it's all the same notes, it's just broken into pieces so that it becomes a melody, and you want to put rhythm into it, just like with those bass notes right here. I forgot to explain that, sorry about that, but you see that right here, it's not just a straight line, it's broken into pieces like that, so it becomes more bouncy, more funky. You see that right here too. So that's what you want to do with the melody. Everything has to be bouncy. What you would do is, out of the chords, you would at least pitch it up an octave. You don't want it to be the same octave range, because it's just gonna sound like the chord is repeating You see right here, you have the little, I forgot what it's called, I think it's called a grace note. You place one note down, one small little note, and then you go up one or however many you need to, and you see that the small note that you had placed before, it doesn't stretch out like that. It stays really small so that it kind of bounces up. You see what I mean? And that's what the producer who made the MIDI, that's what he did right here too. And then at the ending, you see that instead of going up and then down and then staying a little bit down here, he made it go all the way up, so it can kind of let the listener know, okay, we're gonna restart the chords again. Like I said, the chords right here, it's the same thing as the melody. You just need to break the chords into pieces and find a rhythm with it. That's all you need to do. Alright, let's get into the wahs now. The first wah that I used was this one right here. And I got a lot of these sounds, a lot of these wahs and perks from a producer called 𝗠𝗬𝗟𝗡𝗞𝗦, and I'll link the video that I found on YouTube where I downloaded these sounds. I'll link it in the description of the video. So what I did was reverse polarity. I don't know what that does, but it's just been working for me. Remove DC offset, swap the stereo, and I think use loop points is automatically clicked on, so you're gonna have to click that off. And I made the envelope as an 808. So if you're doing an 808, everyone knows that you're supposed to hold all the way up and turn everything else all the way down, and then cut self, and then I put stretch, and this is what it turned out to be. Again, this was another wah from 𝗠𝗬𝗟𝗡𝗡, and this is the YoungBoy wah, and this is how it sounds. With this wah, I like to pitch it down a whole octave. The same thing, I just put the hold right there, all of that right there, the cut self. I didn't put any of those things on here, but this is how it sounds like. Those are the wahs. Real simple. You need to do a lot. Just put a couple wahs. You don't need to put a lot of them, because then it's going to be way too much and the artist isn't going to like it at all. Alright, let's get on to the perks. Alright, so for the perks, I think all three of them are 𝗠𝗬𝗟𝗡𝗡 too. So this is the tango perk. The clap usually hits right here, and I put the tango perk right here, right before the clap hits. Alright, so this is the rim that everybody knows, that one. And what I did with this one is same thing, the clap hits usually right here, and what I did was I made them hit 3 times after the clap, so it kind of has like a rhythm. It goes, you know. Let me just play the clap for you. I think that'll be easier. Here's the next perk, just a laser, 𝗠𝗬𝗟𝗡𝗡 too. So I put the tango perk right here, and with the laser I actually put it even more back. So this dark line right here, the second dark line that you see right here, I put it a little bit before that. And if you need even more help, just count 3 squares back with 1 6-step on. I forgot to take that off. It's supposed to be 1/3, but 1 2 3 squares back off of this dark line. And now we're gonna go on to the organ. Alright, so for the organ, this is from 𝗠𝗬𝗟𝗡𝗡 too, but this organ, it's not always on time. So what you have to do is you have to put the sample start, you have to mess with the sample start a little bit. That's the organ. Alright, so now let's go on to the drums. And this is the WAP clap by 𝗠𝗬𝗟𝗡𝗡. It's simple all the way up to here. I mean, this is still simple, but people might need more explanation on this. So before the clap ends, I made it hit 2 more times. Now for the 808. So this is the Spins 808 by 𝗠𝗬𝗟𝗡𝗡. It follows the root note of the chords. So you remember I was telling you guys that it was C and then it went to F and then F, and then G. So what I did is, instead of it going down, that was way too low, so I put it going up. So this is how it sounds. So literally what I did with the kick is I copy and pasted the 808 pattern on here, and what I did was I pressed Option K. If you're on Windows, it might be Alt K, but I'm on Mac, so I use Option K, and it's gonna bring this, the limiter transposer. What you want to do is put it on C5 or whatever root note your kick is supposed to be. The second 808 is this. It's the same pattern as the first 808 that you guys just seen, but it's actually the Z 808. So that's that. And here's the horn. It's the Playboy horn. It's by Jumpy Beats as well. And what I did with that rim that I showed you guys, where I made it hit 3 times after the clap, that's what I did with this Playboy horn. So there's that, and now we have the open hat. What I did with this is, after the second bar ends, when that last bar is starting, I put 2 open hat hits to hit with the kick. So here's how that sounds. And I just copied it over here too. Now there's the drums. I actually missed one thing. The scratcher. So there's the scratcher. There's that. That's kind of to transition into the actual beat at the intro. You might have heard that. Actually, I know you guys have heard that everywhere on every YoungBoy beat, because that's usually what it has. But anyways, now we're gonna get into the pizzicato. Alright, so for the pizzicato, I got a little lazy and I just copied the melody onto the pizzicato. And the pizzicato is from Expand, and you just go on to Expand, click the default so you can look at the presets, go down to strings, and go up to big Pizz strings. So yeah, like I said, I got lazy. Usually I don't get lazy, but this time I got a little lazy, so I just copied the melody onto the actual pizzicato strings, and it's really the same thing. These are supposed, like this right here is supposed to be over here too, and this is supposed to be over here, but I actually deleted that just so it can be a little different. But yeah, like I said, it's the same thing, but this is how it sounds. Alright, so there's that, and the riser. I'll just show you guys that right now since it's really small. The arrangement, here's the arrangement. Is just the hook, and I usually put my verses like this. So usually, 2 right here for the verse, and then I use this last one as kind of like a bridge. That's basically the arrangement, nothing too crazy, but like I said, here's how this sounds for the transitioning into the actual beat. Yeah, so there's that, man. Hopefully y'all liked it, man. Hopefully I helped you, get a little more insight on how YoungBoy Baton Rouge beats are made. Again, this was a MIDI, so it's not totally from scratch. This was, like I said, it's a MIDI from another producer, and I'm pretty sure it's from Timmy the Hitman. That's the background of how these beats are made. Obviously more goes into it. This is probably like the most basic YoungBoy beat you'll probably hear. If you do want me to go more in depth and make it even crazier beat, like one that's way crazier than this one, something that has more sounds but still sounds super simple, I will make it. Just let me know. I most likely will make it either way. But yeah, there's much more that goes into YoungBoy beats that you can add. Like, this beat doesn't even have more things. Like, some people use strings, bass lines, like actual bass guitars. I didn't use that in here. I didn't use any textures. I didn't use anything. I didn't use no bells. Yeah, man, I hope y'all enjoyed, and see you on the next tutorial.